My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, have you ever kind of wondered what it would be like to be on the other side of the desk as a passive investor and then switch gears and become an active investor? Well, our special guest today, Kim Lackie, zooming in from beautiful Ottawa, Ontario, has done exactly that. And she's up to all sorts of interesting things in real estate. Kim, glad to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm very excited.
Likewise. And for everybody that's watching this on YouTube, you'll see that there's a much younger, more handsome looking guy on the screen with us. That's Bryce Kaminsky. Bryce is my new co-host with the most, and he's going to be coming along for the ride here, interjecting from time to time. So Bryce, great to have you on the call as well, buddy.
Thank you very much. Just give me a few more years, Dave. I'll catch up. I'll get the white is going to creep in. I've got a
you don't
son
want to
now,
catch
so
up,
it's
buddy.
catching up.
Hold on to it as long as you can. Look what
Will
happens when
do.
you catch up. Anyhow, enough. Kim, tell us a little bit about the Kim Lackie story. How did you get into real estate investing? What sparked your interest in the first place?
I think I always had an interest. I really just enjoyed looking at properties and drive. I do a lot of driving, so it was like, oh, I'd see this empty lot and how cute that would look with a cottage, next to the lake, or see some infill projects going, and I'm like, oh, I really wanted to do that. But
so
as
where
life goes on,
was this in Ottawa that you were seeing this stuff? Or
no,
I know you're from Vancouver originally, right?
yeah, I grew up in Richmond, BC.
Yeah.
So it's just south of the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
we used to
familiar
call
with
it,
that neck of the woods, that's for sure. Yes.
yeah, used to be a lot of agriculture there. We used to call it ditchman because it was all the ditches.
I just remember
It's
blackberries
not that
galore.
anymore.
So
Yeah.
you're one of those nerds like me that you always kind of saw opportunities, but you're always looking at it
Yeah.
from the investing side of things. So when did you kind of take that first stab at it?
First stab of it was when my husband and I got engaged, and we were looking around for where we're going to stay, rent or stay in mom and dad's basement. So it was through that. I had met some friends a couple months before. They were looking to sell their condo and move into a house. I quite liked the condo, was quite eager to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
So we didn't go through a realtor. We just negotiated together.
Nice.
Got some money from my dad, which was very helpful, but I also had to sell my car. And because I worked at the airport, Richmond's pretty close. It would take me about 20 minutes by car and about the same with the bike. So I gave up my car to be able to bike to work so that we could afford a condo. So that was kind of my way of giving up something to be able to get something bigger. And we've moved on, but my mom still lives in that condo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah, mom and dad wanted to get rid of the family home. My dad wasn't well. So yeah, it would just seem I had it rented and had no plans to come back anytime soon. But the way things were going, it was an opportunity to help mom and dad out. So
and I'm thinking the value of that condo's gone up pretty good since you first bought it.
Yes,
just guessing.
But I got a partner. I got a couple of partners. So.
All right. So that was kind of an accidental investment.
Yeah.
What was your first foray into revenue real estate?
So fast forward to COVID. I was at a time when I guess a lot of people were kind of second guessing where they were at in life.
Yeah.
And I wasn't overly happy where my job had taken me.
So speaking of job, you'd gone from Vancouver to Ottawa at this time. Is that correct?
No, I went up north with my husband. Okay. We went up to the Northwest Territories. It was a government job. So we were up there, no kids. We were in our early 30s and should have known back then that would have been nice to be able to investing while we were on a government salary up there. But, hindsight. So we were
Woulda,
up there for
coulda.
7 years. 7 years, it was nice.
Yeah.
Then we had triplets.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, that's what brought us to Ottawa.
Wow. Three reasons. That's amazing.
3 reasons, yeah.
How
So
how old are
yeah,
the triplets now? I'm just curious.
they're 17.
Wow.
So
Boys,
they're
girls mix. What do you got?
2 girls and a boy.
Okay.
Not quite sure what they're going to do next year. So we're kind of in the midst of having those conversations. But yeah, so I'm coming up to having some more of my free time back,
Yeah.
and looking at what the next horizons are, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, but bigger picture, probably the next 10.
Yeah, fair
So
enough. So sorry, I interrupted you, Kim. What was your first foray into revenue
yeah,
project?
so yeah, COVID, and I'd always really been interested looking at all the prices and stuff of houses and how they were going up. And it's like Facebook knows what you're thinking, because
It
next
does.
thing I know, I got an advertisement for some reduced education on a 3-day weekend. And so I thought that would be the time that, yes, I could dedicate that time.
Was
And
it one of those good-looking HGTV type folks that
yes,
got you hooked?
yeah,
There we go. Yeah.
yeah, it got me hooked.
Good old
So
Scott.
good old Scott and Michael. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so for the next, I would say probably a good year, I was learning from them.
Mhm.
The first thing I took the opportunity to do was get my RSPs into a trust
Self-directed.
company. So I went with both at the time. There was Olympia and Western Pacific.
Mhm.
That was kind of when you don't do your due diligence, you don't know that there's others out there. So I ended up with 2 investments in 2 different trust companies,
Yep.
having to deal with that. Um, so I did some land development, bigger projects out south of Toronto. So those
As
are
as a passive investor.
that's correct. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
So it's
And
about a
why did
seven.
you decide to start passive instead of active first, Kim?
I think it was nerves,
Yeah.
not fully understanding. I always knew that I wanted to get a cottage or a second house to be able to fix something up and do it. And we did get that opportunity. We remortgaged the current house we have,
Yeah.
and we're able to do that. We fast forward a year, I guess, so November 2021, we purchased a single family home in Cornwall, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from where we live. And I spent the winter renovating that. And it was supposed to be a joint effort between my husband and I. Uh, he defaulted.
Wow.
He ended up getting a new job, so his time was a lot different, not having weekends available and that kind of thing.
So
So
this was a flip property, is that correct?
yeah, flipped myself. So
Flip to
flip it
myself.
all.
So define, what does that mean?
So it's you do the renovations, you put some money into fixing it up, you increase the value of it, and then when you refinance, hopefully you've done enough and the market's gone up enough that you can take out your full investment. And
Okay, so some
it
people
can
call
just,
that a burr.
yes,
Same idea.
yeah,
Flip to yourself. I like
same
that one
idea.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a pretty expert flipper on the call here with us right now. Bryce has flipped many houses. Worked for a number of
Mhm.
years with Stefan Arnio, who was kind of Canada's flipping king for quite some time. Bryce, any quick questions that you have for Kim about her first flip to herself?
Well, I guess the big thing is like if you were to start again on that project, what would you do different?
Uh,
Get your husband roped in.
yeah, get my husband on board. Um, I probably would have picked as much as I like the property and it's a good location, I probably should have been looking bigger to be able to have a secondary or a third kind of unit to be able to have extra income. It is
Yeah.
a fairly big property right now, so the potential is to maybe add a coach house at some point. But I think I could have done a little bit more searching. I just was more eager to get in the game. They always say it's better to be in than sitting on the sidelines. So that's kind of, I had been looking for a while, different places along the St. Lawrence Seaway area. And Cornwall just seemed to be an up and coming. Still got a lot of new things coming to Cornwall. So yeah.
So how
Cornwall
far
doesn't
away is
have a
that
lot
away
of
from where you live, Kim?
Cornwall. It's
Yeah.
an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 50. So that's a lot of back and forth to go swinging the hammers and doing the work yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And so you're holding on to that one. Is it cash flow positive, or is it breaking even, or is it losing a little bit cash flow wise as
No,
renting as a single family?
I just got some reports from my bookkeeper and we're cash flowing. We're actually doing fairly well. So
That's
having
wonderful.
those conservative numbers and yeah, it really made a difference.
Oh, that is
So,
wonderful.
yeah,
Congratulations.
and getting a good rate as well.
Locking it in, I guess. I
Yes,
guess you
yeah.
locked that one. Smart, smart, smart.
Yeah.
All right. So you've had experience on the passive side of things, investing in land development type deals. Now you've had some experience flipping to yourself.
Mhm.
What are your plans moving ahead?
So I did invest with another couple. We've have joint ventures together, so they're doing the work. Um, so within about 3 years, I'll get my capital back on that. It'll be a equity partnership in that.
Is that in a single
So
family home or a multifamily? What kind of a deal is that?
they're two single family homes, like rancher style, and they're putting SDUs in the basement.
So define
So
SDU for folks that don't know what that means.
secondary dwelling unit.
All right. So
So
putting in a secondary suite in the basement. Got it.
basement, yeah. And then with the potential, once the properties are stabilized, which will take about a year, year and a half, hopefully, there might be some interest in putting coach houses on those.
Nice.
As Ottawa allows up to 3 on a property at this point.
Yeah, they're becoming much more cooperative about densification these days, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
Nice, 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 nice.
So,
okay, so you got a couple of those deals. What else are you planning to do?
So right now I'm looking into that land development. It's always been an interest, as I said earlier. So I had taken a workshop in BC, went back to see some family, did a 3-day workshop, got to meet some people I'd known before on what they were doing construction wise on the island. Really liked what they were doing and found a friend. We just went to an event, met each other, clicked really well. Both have the same goals. So we're putting together a partnership corporation to be able to do some land development. So I signed up for a course that starts in 2 weeks, or actually 1 week. So I'll be doing that. And there's another 2 couples here that are planning to do even bigger land development. So I'm kind of shadowing them as they go through their projects to just get that hands-on learning and be able to share some of my time to be able to learn and eventually be able to own a property, vacant preferably, to be able to build an 8-plex or 12-plex or whatever to start.
In Ontario.
In Ottawa, yes.
In Ottawa,
I kind of wanted to be close. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So up until now, Kim, you've been kind of self-financing a lot of things. Is that what you're planning to do moving ahead? Or are you going to start bringing on partners and you being the active partner and other people being more on the passive side?
That's the plan. Is I can't do it with all nobody else my money because I don't have any left. So it's working on doing the capital raise, putting together the package, getting my idea out there, making sure I understand the do's and don'ts in doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's next on my list, even this week, to be able to start putting that together.
Okay. Well, usually what I recommend under these circumstances, Kim, is that if at all possible, you join forces with somebody else who's got some experience doing this and pay to play, so to speak. So in other words, you put in some money in the deal, but you say, hey, I want to also be an active participant in this project instead of just a passive participant. But here's the good news, Kim. You've already got a little bit of indirect experience from the land development deal that you invested in a few years ago at the beginning of the pandemic with your RRSPs. So is that project anything like what you want to be doing yourself, or is it a completely different kettle of fish?
Not right away. That one was a bigger project. They had 4 different land developments that they were doing. So,
But any
but
one of them was, how big were the different land developments?
one was executive townhomes. I think there was 12 of them.
Okay.
Just outside of Toronto. There's like a small neighborhood, some single families, some duplexes.
Yeah.
And close to where they're putting up that nuclear plant. Can't remember the name of the town there.
Yeah. So that's one. What were the other two like?
Yeah.
What kind of, just tell me what kind of
The other
properties.
two, yeah, they were putting up multifamilies.
Like big ones?
I'd have to, yeah, the bigger ones.
Okay.
And another set of townhomes, but not as high end as the ones in Toronto. So they're all, some of them they've already sold off, so they're already gone. The next ones to be looked at were the townhomes in Toronto, and it was, questionable as to what kind of prices that we get, because obviously over time the construction got expensive,
right,
and timelines were delayed. So yeah,
so maybe
we
not
should be having
exactly, not exactly what you want to do, because you want to develop and put a, do you say a 12plex, 10 to 12plex on there?
Yeah, 8 to
Ideally,
12.
and then hold on to it or sell it.
Hold on to it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
slightly different model there. You're not building to sell, you're building to rent and to hold long
That's
term.
correct.
Okay, but you could still kind of share the fact that you've been an investor in these kind of properties and bring that to the table. Then I would highly recommend that you, quote unquote, borrow a deal from the people that you're learning from, if they've done anything similar to what you want to be doing in and around Ottawa. Are you learning from Karina by any chance?
No, I do have some friends that are working with her, but I do have other friends that are working with Darren Barrows, and that's
okay.
who I'm taking.
Darren's a great guy too. So
yeah,
I definitely know. I know both of them. I've worked with Karina. She was a client of ours a couple of years ago, doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, they both do it kind of separate, differently.
Yeah.
Karina's more on the paper side, whereas Darren kind of manages his. He's a project manager.
Yeah. Yeah. No, very, very interesting. So anyhow, see if you can borrow one of Darren's projects, if he's done anywhere near Ottawa that are similar to what you want to do, and use that as a case study for explaining what you want to be doing to prospective investor partners. Most definitely.
Yes.
So if you could wave the realistic magic wand there, Kim, what would you like to accomplish in the next, let's say, 2 years?
2 years? Yes, for sure I want to buy the property. It would be doing all the due diligence, which can take some time. Also with the city. I don't know what their schedules are like now, but they are making some changes to be able to hopefully move that progress stick a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So in 2 years,
I won't bash government workers, because I think you are one.
True. I know how they work.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you got an inside scoop there.
It would be pretty much working towards that time frame to be able to get the shovels in the ground. So I think it would probably take a good 2 years for that to happen.
Well, I like your focus. I like the fact that you're getting educated about this. I like the fact that you've already invested in development deals, so you understand it very much from the passive investor side of things. Let me ask you this. I know you're fairly tapped out with what you've invested in other projects and stuff like that. But if it were necessary, would you be able to put in some money in your deal?
Yes, like I said, the ones that's coming due is the bigger land development. The first one that I put into, that would probably come due in around that 18-month part from now. I'll be getting some of those funds back.
Yeah.
It would have to go through a different way, because I can't I can't invest in myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
Yeah.
so,
I'd
but
have to do a swap back and forth with somebody else.
exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. And then the other joint venture that I have, if we can get those properties refinanced and stabilized within that time frame, I would certainly be putting that money towards that. Start up my
Nice.
company and move that forward. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting stuff, Kim. Well, I
Yeah.
wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And as we're wrapping up here, if people want to connect with you and find out more about Kim Lackie, what should they do?
So they can reach me on Facebook, Kim Lackie Investments, or I do have a website. It's kimlackieinvestments.com. It needs a little bit of work, but we're getting there. So yes, definitely. Either
Progress,
way,
not perfection.
exactly.
Excellent.
Can't waste too much time on that.
Awesome, Kim. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
And
Yeah.
Bryce, thanks for helping out.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.